How you doing? How you doing? And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Patty, and I appreciate you stopping by today. And we're here to answer one of life's important questions: is Xiao worth pulling? Short answer, yes. And we're gonna take a look. MiHoYo themselves has put out some stuff over the last couple of days that gives us a little bit of previews into the man's. And then also we have another site that we can use to take a look at some of his constellations and stuff. And we'll talk about, is he going to be a whale character? Is he going to be accessible to everybody? How does some of his kit look? And that's pretty much the long and short of it. We're just going to go down the list for the man a little bit and, just simp out a little baby bit. Just a little bit. I've basically got a primed pity waiting for this, so I will hopefully pull this man. I will be very, very sad if I do not get him. And we'll be back to forcing ourselves to play the game, because I'm not having fun. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. So MiHoYo, and it's off one of their Facebook posts and everything in the last couple of days, where essentially we're at HoYo Lab. And there's some stuff up above here that you guys can go check out. It gets a little bit into lore and some stuff about him, which cool for some people, but I really care about the kit. That is the most important thing, and what I'm looking for information on. Just see how our man's is doing. So right here we've actually got a little animation previews to go along with all of them. I really appreciate MiHoYo putting that together. That is a 10 out of 10 move in terms of giving us a good preview, a little look-see, you know what I mean? So right off the bat, we've got his normal attack animation playing. And now there's two different loops happening here essentially. It's going through his full 6 hit normal attacks, and then at the end it's showing his charged attack. So right now we've got we've got the normal hits playing, and this is the charged attack. See how it's kind of an upward, there's a little bit of a swing down move or something. Yeah, no, he boo, 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 boo. I played with sticks a lot, so the part of me is yeah, I'll spin with this. There's some of my childhood's coming through. But that basically is a little bit of a stab forward and then sweeping up with that. It's got some nice cone AoE. We can see it's going quite further to the sides than a lot of his, bigger attacks. Even the last hit on his 6-hit combo and everything, that's got a nice little bit of range. That's got a lot more range. And his charge attack is going to be important for his kit, at least if you're a whale. So we'll go back and touch on that. Then we've got his E ability, which is... I should have practiced this a few times before the video. Okay, we're just wind cycling. We're just good old LWC, dog. Good old LWC. So LWC is essentially a high-speed dash. Steals animo damage in his path, and it can be used while airborne. It starts with 2 charges, which is a great indication that it is going to have at least additional charges added through the Constellations. If they're already telling us off the bat that it starts with 2, we're going to assume that there's a few more. Does it have to be in the Constellations? Not necessarily. There could be a high-end talent that gives you another one. Don't really know that part. But pretty solid move. Obviously, no one's going to look at this and be like, oh, well, this is the most busted thing I've ever seen in my life. Definitely going to have to spend $1,000 on this, man. No. Really, I see me using this to try and save my own life here and there. I might make poor decisions with my stamina. So having something that I could use to close a gap, I wouldn't be mad about. I definitely see people using this to be able to get to some silly spots in the game. Someone's definitely going to try and use these to kill all the chickens on the bridge. The 2 dashes and then, start using your little parachute and then slam down. That might give you the height you need to really be able to get all them ducks, man. It could be a thing. So again, I see this to be a little bit more in the meme category than really a crazy impactful skill. But a quick on-demand animo attack like that could be really good for, spreading some elemental effects on whatever you're fighting. If only one thing has something you want on it, just boo, right through him. And then Animo's going to swirl, do its magic. It looks decent. Doesn't seem completely overpowered or broken. All right, so this one is a preview for his elemental burst. Basically his Q, his super, his ultimate, whatever you want to call it. Essentially what he's doing is putting on a mask. And while he's wearing this mask, a couple of things are happening. A, he's going to be losing a little bit of health. Now, I don't think it's going to be big enough. You guys might be able to read that. I don't know. It's not too OD. Let me center it. Let me mess it all up instead. Ha 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 ha. Okay, that's the best we're getting. We're just going to miss the top of the circle. So it greatly increases Xiao's jumping ability, increases Xiao's attack AoE and damage. So I think what they kind of mean by that is all of his attacks now have a little bit more of an AoE. As you can see, as he's hitting things, seems to be a little bit of an explosion there, a little bit. So I think it just by default is making all of his skills a little bit of an AoE. And then probably accentuates things that are already AoEs to make them even larger, while increasing damage as well. Xiao's attack damage is converted to Animo damage, so all damage during that point is going to be Animo. That could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. We'll see how the multipliers work out in his favor and everything. So like with Chongyun, we see, in certain instances, the fact that his skill switches it from elemental damage and takes away physical damage, that you lose out on a little bit of DPS, at least for certain characters that really benefit off of physical damage. So at least we'll know in his kit we don't want to go for physical damage whatsoever. He's definitely going to be an Animo damage, if anything, outside of going for attack percentage and crit. So yeah, don't go physical damage for him, kids. It's not going to come into play with his ultimate whatsoever. Oh, there was actually more to that. Xiao's attack damage is converted to Animo damage, which cannot be overridden by any other elemental infusion. In this state, Xiao will continuously lose HP. The effects of the skill end when Xiao leaves the field. Important thing to note there at the end is when you switch him out, his ultimate is over. There's a couple people that you can basically pop their ultimate, switch to other characters, and still be able to do stuff. Like you can pop out Lisa's ultimate, Zhang Li's ultimate, or elemental burst. Sorry. And then there's characters like Razor, where if you use his ultimate, he has to stay out the entire time. As soon as he you switch to someone else, he loses that. It's gone. So that's a very important thing to know when you're trying to combine, ultimates and abilities, knowing which ones have that ability to be passively on the field and which ones you have to actively stay on the field for. And because they don't really mention it here, but we're going to go to our other buddy site right now. What they don't really mention, or at least go into deep detail on, is how much HP you're really losing. And that's a good bit. So you're losing 3% HP every second. The duration for the skill is 15 seconds. So if you used Xiao's ultimate and had him on the field for the entire time for it, it will take 45% of your health. That's not counting any damage that you might be taking during the fight. So this is something you absolutely, if you know you're going to keep him on the field for the entire time of his ultimate, you have to make sure that he is basically topped up beforehand when you pop your ultimate. Otherwise, you get hit a few unlucky times, plus that 45, or really minus that 45% of your HP from the ultimate. That can be huge. That can get you killed. I might have an issue with getting my characters killed from time to time, so maybe that's just, my personal PTSD talking. But that is something you are definitely going to have to pay attention to with this man's. And I don't think it's crazy. Like, if we look at how much this site is claiming the increased damage is, getting almost off of level 1 Bane of Evil without it being leveled up at all is starting out at 68% damage, really 69% damage, giggity. Really, guys, come on, just make it 70. But that is a very healthy increase on damage. So his ultimate is going to be it looks like it's going to be very, very, very useful and valuable with that amount of increased damage. But, just remember the whole health thing. That's going to be an important part, too. So what we can also look at on here is going to be some of, like, the passive and constellation stuff. So first things up with the passive talent, unlocks at Ascension 1. Starting Bane of All Evil increases Xiao's damage by 5%. After this, Xiao's damage continues to increase by 5% every 3 seconds until the skill ends, max 25%. Which is a little confusing. So I believe that this is on top of the increased damage that you're already dealing as Xiao in that form anyway. So it's ramping up, so that's going to be I don't know which part of that math is going to come first. If this is I don't know. We'll kind of have to see how that plays out. But it could be that, the 68% is being taken into with your base damage, and then the incremental 5% are being taken into account, or it could be your base damage and then and then the incremental damage are combined together, and then the 68 is added on top of that. So we'll see. We'll see. It's always, kind of an up in the air question of how they're actually doing the math on the back end, which when you're getting into damage calculations can be really, really impactful depending on the order that it's going. So that's the only reason that we're putting a little extra bit of thought into that. After that, at Ascension 4, we're getting Dissolution, Eon, Heavenfall, and LWC. Is used, increases all subsequent LWC's damage by 10% for 6 seconds, max 3 stacks. Duration refreshes with new stacks. That's pretty good. For whales, that'll be pretty gross, but we'll kind of cover all that once we get towards the end of these. So just put a pin in this one, and we'll kind of circle back to it. And then Transcension, Gravity Definer, decreases all party members' falling damage by 30%. Yeah! That means I'm going to die less often all across the board. It's sad how much that might actually affect my my poor gameplay, let's call it. Let's be nice. The greatest effect out of all of Teyvat's talents of the same type prevails. Okay. So, I mean, that's cool. That's cool as far as the passive talents and everything that you get. Let's go ahead and start getting into the constellations. We can come up just a little baby bit. Here we go. That's almost classy and well-centered. Alright, so first constellation increases LWC's charge by 1. Who could have guessed that? Everyone. Everyone should have had their money on that one. Constellation 2, when in a party but not the current active character, Xiao's energy recharge is increased by 25%. That's cool. That means he's, fits better into the role of being your pocket DPS of when you need him. He's already in your pocket, already ready to go, and he's just going to come out and bully people. Do I think that once you have Constellation 2, you should be, thinking about doing an energy recharge kit? No. Even if you could rapidly get his thing over and over again, you would have to have some pretty good heals to be consistently offsetting that 45% loss of HP. Yeah, this will be more than enough in the energy recharge department, I'm sure. Unless you have some super crazy healers and, they're all max constellations and you've wailed your little heart out, maybe then you could get some really broken stuff out of that. But I think it'll be a little while before we see anyone really trying to play off of this too hard. But it's cool. I think it fits pretty well, and as a passive bonus is pretty solid. So Constellation number 3 increases the level of LWC by 3. Pretty standard stuff. When Xiao's HP falls below 50%, gains 100% defense bonus. What the hell? How dare you put that in a constellation? Um, that's that's broken. I think if you were gonna put this in his kit somewhere, that it should have been worked into somewhere where it was more or less accessible for everyone, so it's not just whales that are getting a huge offset of the amount of the fact that you're losing health when you're using your ultimate. I mean, that is a crazy strong constellation, for being even in fourth place. Like, that's almost busted enough. I say that should be in a level 6, but I'm not a fan of you guys putting that in that spot. I think if you're wanting to include this and have an offset for the amount of damage that you're taking, should be there for everybody, not in Constellation 4. So I wish y'all just did something completely different with this whole square. But obviously that puts more points in to him being a whale character a little bit. So Constellation 5, increased level of Bane of All Evil by 3, maximum upgraded level is 15. Nothing out of the ordinary there. That's pretty given stuff. Constellation 6. During Bane of All Evil, hitting 2 or more enemies with a charge attack grants LWC 1 additional charge and reduces LWC's cooldown by 1 second. Now, the fact that this is a C6 Constellation passive, I believe that you are just right off the bat, when you use that charge attack while using your elemental burst, you were just getting that 1 additional charge instantly. Okay, I don't think you're just getting an additional slot for it and then still working on the overall cooldowns of all of them for that 1 second to count. But I think it's pretty safe to assume that you'll just immediately get an available LWC charge when you use that charged attack while in your elemental burst. And the fact that it basically says, instead of just reducing one of their cooldowns, there's an apostrophe S here, making me think that it will shorten the cooldown on any available cooldown that you have for LWC. So say that you have used up your 3 already. First one's got 9 seconds on it, second one's got 10 seconds on it, third one's got 12 seconds on it before it's back up. You pop that mode, you use a charge attack right away. Pretty sure it's going to be, that one's at 8 seconds now, or really I guess 7 seconds, since it would kind of just skip. There would still be a second being counted, and then the 1 second that it's taking away. So it would probably take up 2 right away. So, the 9 would now be 7, the 10 would now be 8, and so on and so forth. So, he looks like he's going to be really, really strong for whales. I don't know if I can really confidently say whether or not I think he's going to be as, bad as, say, Child, where his viability increases exponentially once you've fully whaled him out and have his C6. But I think his C6 is still going to output a crazy amount of damage. And when we have the Ascension ability up here, that's essentially increasing the damage of these every time you use them, and that's a stacking buff. And we've now got something down here that's giving us additional charges while also shortening the cooldown on all the rest of them. Yeah, we're gonna see some pretty memey spam of this ability right here. I think that is a perfectly safe thing to say. But overall, I think this man's gonna be great. I think he's gonna be definitely worth pulling. I'm hoping to God when I hit my pity, it doesn't give me someone else. I might honestly cry on camera, because if that happens, there's no way I'm gonna be able to actually get him in the event, because I'm not going to no-life this game to get another 30 or 40 summons before the end of the thing, to just potentially not even get it in that, because I'm too broke to spend any real money on this game, so you ain't getting that out of me. Nah, I don't have that much free time, so if we don't luck our way into this, man, with the pity we have primed up right now, it'll be real, real sad. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I appreciate them faces. You have to catch your boy in the next one, because we're out of here. Deuces.